Hello bros, welcome back to Rodent Review, the series where we take a look at the furriest, cutest, and sometimes downright strangest members of the rodent family. Today, we're hopping, literally, into the world of the Bettong, a pint-sized marsupial that looks like a cross between a tiny kangaroo and a rodent, but has a lifestyle all of its own. Now, before we dive in too deep, let's clear something up. Bettongs are not technically rodents, they belong to a group of marsupials called porteroids, which are more closely related to kangaroos and wallabies. But let's be honest, if you saw one of these little guys running around, you'd probably think that's got to be some kind of rodent. And that's exactly why they deserve a spot in Rodent Review. They typically weigh between 3 and 6 pounds, making them about the size of a rabbit. Their fur is soft and can range from grayish brown to reddish brown, depending on the species. They have long pointed snouts, large round eyes, and oversized hind legs which they use to hop rather than walk. Bettongs are native to Australia, where they usually roam around in huge numbers. They prefer dry forests, grassy woodlands, and scrublands where they can find plenty of food and shelter. But here's the sad part. Due to habitat destruction, introduced predators, and competition with invasive species, Bettongs have almost disappeared from much of their original range. Today, many species of Bettongs are critically endangered, with only a few surviving in protected areas or conservation programs. Despite their small size, Bettongs are incredibly active though and social. Unlike most rodents that scurry, Bettongs hop around, and they do it with surprising speed and agility. Bettongs communicate through a mix of vocalizations, scent markings, and body language. They are known to make soft grunting or chattering sounds, and they use a scent gland to mark their territory. While some species prefer to be solitary, others live in loosely organized groups, interacting at night while foraging, but then returning to their own nest before sunrise. Bettongs are herbivores, but they don't just eat any plants. They have a very specific diet that includes roots, tubers, fungi, seeds, and grasses. One of their favorite foods of all time is truffles. Yes, you heard that right. These little guys are out here eating gourmet meals. But they're not just eating them for the taste. By consuming truffles and other fungi, Bettongs help to spread beneficial spores throughout the soil, which helps trees and plants grow. This makes them a keystone species, meaning that they play a crucial role in keeping the ecosystem healthy. Bettongs have incredible foraging skills. They use their sharp claws and strong noses to dig up underground food sources, sometimes creating small pits in the soil as they search for roots and fungi. Because they dig so much, they naturally aerate the soil, making it more fertile and helping plants grow. In fact, some scientists believe that if Bettongs were allowed to return to their original habitats, they could help restore degraded landscapes by improving the soil quality. Like most small mammals, Bettongs have plenty of predators to worry about. In their natural habitat, they have to watch out for owls, large snakes, and native carnivorous marsupials like quolls. But their biggest threat today comes from invasive predators like foxes and feral cats, which were introduced by European settlers and have devastated Bettong populations. To avoid being eaten, Bettongs rely on their speed, agility, and burrow-like nests to stay hidden during the day. When they feel threatened, they freeze in place or make sudden unpredictable hops to throw off a predator's aim. But unfortunately, even with these defenses, they haven't been able to protect themselves very well from habitat destruction and invasive species. They're actually one of Australia's most endangered marsupials. But now let's talk about what makes Bettongs truly special, their reproductive system. Like kangaroos, Bettongs carry their babies in a small pouch. A female Bettong gives birth to a tiny, underdeveloped baby, which crawls around in the pouch to continue growing for another 3 months after birth. Then, the Bettong will start exploring the outside world, but will still return to the pouch for safety and nursing. By 6 months old, it's fully independent, but the mother may already have another tiny baby developing inside her. Although Bettongs are critically endangered, conservation programs are working hard to bring them back. Several species have been successfully reintroduced into predator-free areas, and breeding programs in wildlife sanctuaries are helping boost their numbers. Scientists are also studying ways to control the overpopulation of invasive species in these areas. Bettongs might not be quite as famous as kangaroos or koalas, but they're just as important to Australia's ecosystem. With their adorable hopping movements, unique role as nature's gardeners, and impressive survival skills, they are truly one of the most fascinating marsupials out there, and they look very similar to rodents. That's it for today's rodent review. If you found this look at the Bettong interesting, please go ahead and squeak that like button, subscribe, and let me know down in the comments which rodent you'd like to see in the next video. Until next time, remember to stay curious and keep squeaking your truth. Squeak!